session, we're going to talk about a group of people that weren't in Colorado very long. We're going to talk about the miners who came in to strike it rich. Now, in 1859, we saw the start of the Pikes Peak Gold Rush. Miners came from all over the country, from California after the California Gold Rush, from New Mexico, from the East Coast. They were all coming in to get rich quick. So they came into our area in 1859, but they were only here until 1893. And so our icon, or our map marker and timeline marker, is a pick and shovel. Let's go over to the map and see where they were in Colorado. So we're looking at the map for the pick and shovel. The gold and the silver that the miners were coming to find were in the mountain areas. We had just outside of Colorado Springs was some of the largest gold areas in Cripple Creek, but we also had mining up here in Summit County. Let's take a look at some of the artifacts that are going to help us learn more about the miners. The first ones are why they came to Colorado in the first place, was they were looking for pieces of gold and silver. In 1859, gold was found in Breckenridge. In 1863, silver was found up near Montezuma. So we had both gold miners and silver miners in our county. Now, young men, old men, and even young boys, as young as 10 years of age, came to work to look for gold and silver. Here's a photo of a group of young miners that are ready to go looking for their fortune. Our next artifact is a gold pan. Now, in the early days, when they first came to Colorado, they would go to the streams and they would put their gold pan into the stream, and then they'd swirl around and swirl the water out of the pan. And the gold that was heavy would lay in the bottom of the pan. Here's a photograph of a man who's panning for gold in one of our streams. Later on, they developed other types of mining. There's hydraulic mining, where they'd take big hoses and wash down the mountainsides. And then there was lode mining, where they'd go into the ground to mine. So there were different types of mines here in our area. Now, what would the miner do once he got his gold? Well, he would go to an assay office. An assay office would have a scale that looks like this. And so the assayer would measure the gold, and he could tell how much the gold was worth. And then he would give a written receipt to the miner, so that if the miner wanted to trade the gold for an item, he knew exactly what the value was. Here's a photograph of what an actual receipt looked like. So what type of dwellings did the miners live in? Well, they lived in tents and very crude shacks. In fact, if you do any hiking in our county, I imagine you'll come across some of those old shacks that the miners used when they were mining up in the mountains. Are they still living in Colorado today? The answer is no. The miners are not mining any longer. In fact, during the gold rush, many of the miners left because they weren't finding any gold, and so they would just go home. Not many miners became rich from the gold rush. As the gold and silver dwindled, the mines shut down. What happened to those miners? Well, some of them went down to the cities and found jobs there. But here in Summit County, many of them became ranchers in the county. We had over 300 ranches right after the mines closed down. So now in your workbook, when you go to the section for miners, you're going to take out the sticker that looks like our pick and shovel right here. And you're going to place it in the mountains on the map and in the yellow section of the timeline. Remember, they weren't here very long. The gold rush moved on to other places when things died down here. Don't forget to answer those 3 questions. The questions are: where'd they come from? What did they live in? And are they here now? And if they aren't here now, what did they do? I have a very fun activity. We're going to make pasties. I have included a recipe in your workbook for a favorite meal that the miners would have. It's a pasty or a meat pie. I suggest you make pasties some night with the help of an adult for dinner and serve it to your family. Next time, we're going to talk about our final group, the Hispanos. See you then.